Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Let's take a look at the top stories. MPs pay tribute to the UPDF for pacifying northern Uganda. The members of Parliament also moved to change the mode of electing the leader of opposition. While Chagulanyi welcomes NRM political defectors, cautions leaders without integrity. And NEMA to resume second phase of uninterrupted evictions. Hello once again. President Yoweri, Parliament has overwhelmingly voted to pay tribute to President Yoweri Museveni and Uganda People's Defense Forces for successfully pacifying northern Uganda. The motion, massively seconded by opposition and the ruling party legislators combined, was moved by the Kazo County MP Dan Kimosho. This was at the ongoing regional parliament sitting in Gulu, graced by the president.
The notion that opposition members of parliament never speak the same voice with their ruling party counterparts has been proven wrong. The Thursday sitting of the House in Gulu has a motion to pay tribute to President Yoweri Museveni and the Uganda People's Defense Forces. Unite these MPs.
I reflected, Retro Speaker, a situation where they used to tell us that guns would be singing in different tones, alto, bass and soprano, from morning to evening.
Jointly seconded, the motion moved by Kazo County Member of Parliament Dan Kimosho was a welcome for both political factions.
Retro Speaker, in the evening, we walked on the streets of Gulu, up to like 10 kilometers inside, for jogging and health fitness purposes. And everyone was enjoying themselves. Well, and it was tarmac. Actually, it is more exemplary than most of the towns in this country.
The successful wiping of rebel movements from the north was key among reasons for the motion support.
For those of you who have ever lived in a war-torn area will agree with me that life in a state of war is a life that you never wish to live in after war.
We were called Anyanya because this region was characterized with bloodshed. Here we are, seated comfortably, deliberating because of the fruits of His Excellency the President and other patriots of this country.
The Lord's Resistance Army, led by Joseph Kony, had ravaged northern Uganda for long. It is no more.
Some of us who suffered, like me, I was in Ngora camp. People suffered, people died. I saw people die, and I suffered with my siblings at around 10 or 11 years. So it's quite challenging, but we are grateful.
More than 20 years living in internally displaced camps, abandoning their homes completely, and some of them were staying on the streets. Some of them abducted by Kony, the young girls abducted and taken up by rebels of Kony as wives, others taken up by Kony himself as wives. Very, very important that the president, with the effort of the UPDF, tried their best to ensure that they bring peace.
Even the fallen sons of the soil who put in a lot to ensure that northern Uganda is pacified. So it was timely that during this special sitting in northern Uganda, such a motion is brought to pay tribute to the president.
Karamoja sub-region, which is also part of northern Uganda, did not miss out in the deliberations. This is because cattle rustling had become part of the area. Today, it is all a thing of the past thanks to tireless efforts by the UPDF.
I witnessed the disarmament process. I witnessed when the soldiers died. The commanders, I saw their bodies in parts of Karamoja. I am a witness to the level of sacrifice of the men in uniform, the UPDF. At some point I asked myself, what was the motivation? Up to today, I cannot find the answers. That spirit of sacrifice, the revolutionary spirit, I do not know how the commander-in-chief inculcated that revolutionary spirit in the UPDF.
President Yoweri Museveni had been invited to address the House. He listened and welcomed the tribute.
When we are budgeting, this is very important for you fellows. How could we build such a powerful army with very little money? Because we budget according, we plan according to our small budget. That's why when we are building the army, we don't start with the barracks. The barracks don't look so smart. We start with the personnel, the training, and the weapons.
Other legislators and ministers agreed with what they described as a timely motion.
Because the president was very resilient and remained consistent in not only mobilizing the people to abandon the war, but also deploying UPDF and other forces.
History should always be told. These children of nowadays don't know what war is. They even want to see what it looks like. But I think we need to keep talking to our children so that they appreciate the peace.
And the president has been the lead person in this, contributing in the return of peace here. Now, northern Uganda is not just peaceful, it's growing at a rate that some areas may have to run to catch them up.
All this happening at the regional parliamentary sitting currently in Gulu City, northern Uganda. I'm Navka Farida and Henry Krut.
Called on scouts to join the fight against poverty and backwardness in Uganda. His message, delivered by the Vice President Jessica Alupo at the National Scouts Education Camp Kazi, Wakiso District, emphasized the importance of transitioning from subsistence farming to a modern money economy. The president highlighted that 38% of Ugandan households remain outside the money economy, urging participants to select economic enterprises in commercial agriculture, industries, ICT and services to create wealth and jobs. He assured the scouts of the NRM government's commitment to empowering future leaders through patriotism training, scout camps and other programs. The president also praised the scouts for their efforts in fighting HIV and AIDS, global warming and other issues, noting that Uganda's strong scouting tradition is good. He thanked the Uganda Scouts Association for their impactful work and pledged his continued support as their patron.
At all times and to obey the Scouts law. To officiate the Scout activities, you're already part of us, and a senior one. Scouts! Scouts!
There is need for the patron to...
Very good.
I want to thank you for welcoming me as the newest Scouts member in Uganda.
Asante sana.
Thank you for standing firm in light of the education of the African child. I congratulate all the young scouts and their esteemed scout leaders on a successful scout camp under the theme, Scouting for a Better World. The NRM government is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders through patriotism training, scout camps, and many other programs. Scouting is about character and attitude formation. It helps to mold future citizens. It aims at contributing towards the education of the young through a value system based on the Scout promise and the law. You people must be equipped to play a constructive role in society. Scouting doesn't only help them to have more confidence in themselves, but also to gain employment and positions of influence in the future. The exposure to extracurricular activities prepares scouts to become leaders in their communities. I therefore urge the scouts that have successfully completed this training to endeavor to apply the lessons learned here in your daily lives. I urge the young scouts all over the country to also join the war against poverty and social backwardness. Poverty in Uganda is on account of the fact that we still have 38% of the homesteads outside the money economy. They are in the subsistence economy of working only for food. I would like to assure Uganda Scouts Association of my continued support as the patron to your cause and promise to engage all my counterparts across Africa to do the same. In conclusion, I once again congratulate you, the Scouts, on successfully finishing your camp today. And I wish you success as you move out there to serve in your communities. I thank you. That is the message of our platform.
Meanwhile, Kampala's waste management efforts are under scrutiny as Katikolo in Mukono district becomes one of the newly identified dumping sites for garbage from the city centre. The site, which spans 7.9 acres, now has only 3 left to accommodate the waste from Kampala.
Following the collapse of the Chitezi landfill, which tragically claimed over 35 lives and destroyed property, Kampala Capital City Authority has struggled to find a suitable site for disposing of the city's garbage. This has led to piles of garbage accumulating in the city, raising public concern.
This garbage has been here for a week. They used to collect it, but since the Chitezi catastrophe, it has remained here for a week.
Through various negotiations, Kampala managed to secure the Katabi Nkumba landfill, but its capacity was exhausted within just 3 days, leaving KCCA in a dilemma.
I no longer dump in Entebbe. One thing, the place in Entebbe is narrow.
In response, the government intervened, seeking short-term alternative dumping sites while planning for a long-term solution.
But at least we have agreed with the mayor of, not the mayor of Nansana, but the mayor of Chira, that we shall be dumping at Nansana.
As a result, it was resolved that Menvun, Nansana and Katikolo in Mukono district would serve as alternative dumping sites.
In Katikolo in Mukono, we are very grateful to the leadership there. They passed a resolution to allow us. It's a short time. We are hoping that our next solution will work faster so that we move away, because the distance is very far. Fuel is very, very expensive. We need a place where people don't have to travel very far.
The Katikolo dump site in Mukono district has been in use by Mukono Municipal Council for garbage disposal since 2009, with 4 acres currently in use. However, Kampala's growing waste crisis has increased the site's burden, with over 34 trucks delivering garbage daily. George Masengere, the focal point for waste management in Mukono district, explained the time intervals at which the trucks are allowed to dump to ensure effective management.
The first batch was allowed in at around 1 to dump, and then we can work on it. And now we have another backlog that is still pending, so that as we finish up the other backlog that has been dumped, then we can also work on this other fresh one that is incoming.
Despite these measures, the garbage reception intervals at Katikolo have slowed down the collection of waste from Kampala, raising concerns among private service providers such as Bin It services.
We've been using Entebbe landfill, but Entebbe landfill we were blocked because of the heap of garbage, and the birds which are staying with that they will bring corruption with airplanes. Then Mukono also, they overdelay. Their service is low. They open very late, and of which trucks are parking with garbage.
Mukono Town Council alone generates over 270 tons of garbage daily, and with the additional waste from Kampala, the situation has become overwhelming.
We have realized that, I think, as a municipality, pressure is too much. We need to secure more land. We needed this land, the 30 acres, yesterday. People are coming and they are approaching us. They say, please come and buy our piece of land, because we don't want the calamity that struck in Chitezi also to come in Katikolo.
Local authorities are now calling on the government to partner with KCCA and procure additional land to continue accommodating Kampala's waste in the area.
We call upon government and other players to come to our rescue, and then we secure more land where we can put the waste that we have.
The government has secured the Nansana-Mevu dump site, which covers 32 acres, and the Katikolo dump site in Mukono, covering 7.9 acres, as short-term alternatives. However, even with these sites, the city remains overwhelmed by garbage piling up on many of its streets. Justine Nakami, Faith Kayen, in Katikolo, Mukono District.
And the Office of the Prime Minister has begun the distribution of relief food items donated by the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Congolese refugees in Nachivale settlement, Isinjiro district. At the start of the distribution, the refugees appealed to government to provide them with water sources and electricity for improved livelihoods. Let us take a look.
The appeal was made by Phineas Mushumba, who represented the other refugees at Rwanda Zone, Nachivale refugee settlement. Mushumba says they are having trouble to get water for domestic use, which is affecting the way they live. He says that amongst them there are people with skills in welding and are in position to make ends meet, but lack of power is a big problem to them.
These refugees, they come with many challenges, and we are having the problem of water. Water is still a problem in Rwanda. So not only in Rwanda, but the whole Naki Valley. But where we are settling refugees, there is a shortage of water. Because we finish a primary and we fail to get what support us to continue with education in secondary level, even at university level.
Patrick Okello, the Commissioner of Refugees at the Office of the Prime Minister, lauded the government of Saudi Arabia for the support to the refugees at Nachivale.
In selecting support, I want to commend the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for prioritizing one of the key pillars, which is very critical in the support of refugees.
Within a cost of $500,000, this food basket will be distributing to the most vulnerable family. It includes the basic food items that families need for the next month.
Okello appealed to the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other partners to come to the aid of refugees because the demand is overwhelming.
To provide more food. The 12,000 you have provided is far less than the requirement of the 56,000 that we need. And I hope that with Allah's support, you'll be blessed to mobilize more food so that we can cover all these vulnerable people.
Okil assured the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that only those intended to benefit from relief aid shall be served.
So if you do not fit within those fingerprints, you cannot access it. And that is, again, that system talks directly, captures all the biodata of the refugee. So there is no way with this system that an illegal beneficiary can ever be there.
Pauline Irene Abina, the Regional Desk Officer, Western Uganda, thanked the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the support extended to the Congolese refugees.
We are very grateful. In a special way, we appreciate also your selection of the Congolese, because Congolese refugees have been experiencing and are still experiencing very protracted refugee influx.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, Sub-Region Officer for Western Uganda, Zainab Jafen, commended the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the kind and timely support.
In the current scenario, the complexity of the refugee situation in Uganda has increased the rising arrivals, the limited funding, and few durable solutions for the 1.7 million refugees.
The Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has donated over 342 tons of relief food to Congolese refugees in Uganda worth 1.85 billion shillings. Each of the 12,700 food boxes contains 10 kilograms of maize flour, 5 kilograms of sugar, 5 kilograms of rice, 5 kilograms of beans, 1 kilogram of salt, and 2 liters of vegetable cooking oil.
Meanwhile, State Minister for Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Ramirama, has advised farmers to be guided by science while practicing farming for it to be profitable. While closing the 10th annual school farm camp at Gayaza High School, Ramirama appreciated the students for coming up with innovations for fertilizers and pesticides, saying this is what crop science requires.
Experimental learning in animal husbandry and sustainable farming is valuable as it fosters skills and contributes to food security. The annual school farm camp organized by Gayaza High School attracts students from various schools aiming to deepen their understanding and passion for farming. The camp showcases innovations that assist farmers in combating pests and increasing yields.
A container and maybe a sack where you can have the organic waste collected, and then you need to buy the IMO, indigenous microorganisms. These are readily available on the market and they are quite cheap. And then you can let these organic wastes ferment, and the water that comes out can work as a fertilizer as well as a pesticide or insect.
The Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Ramirama, emphasized that farming should be approached as a business guided by science, including the use of high-quality genetic materials and efficient, high-yielding crop varieties.
We have achieved high-yielding varieties. You also need to have nutrients in the soil. The plant needs to be fed. You need to make sure that the soil science is right for the plants, and you must protect them from pests. I am very, very happy. I have seen students exhibiting some of the fertilizers that actually inhibits pests.
Dr. Mbiru from NAGRIC highlighted the importance of STEM in the initiative, aiming to ensure that the farm is both sustainable and profitable.
One of the key emphasis of NAGRIC in this program was to say that science, which means teaching students about plant and animal biology, soil health and ecosystem management, which are fundamental to successful farming. Then technology, which brings together innovations such as precision farming.
Other stakeholders say that the camp provides numerous opportunities for youth in the agricultural sector, encouraging them to apply the knowledge and skills acquired for life.
We want you to realize that in agriculture, there are a number of opportunities in farming, in value addition, in processing, in distribution of farming inputs.
The host school for the 10th annual school farm camp features a model farm and has received government support for a biogas plant and high-quality heifers which are passed on to participating schools. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Gayaza.
The State Minister in charge of the Youth and Children Affairs, Balamba Rugahara, has welcomed the UBC-led initiative of identifying and giving life to talents within the ghetto areas in what has been dubbed as Ghetto Has Got Talent. Parliament has this Thursday launched Ghetto Has Got Talent, a competition expected to run across the country.
We are having the Ghetto Got Talent to the world, representing on different stages.
Another golden opportunity has knocked on the ghetto doors. That is a talent search competition.
The Ghetto Got Talent is more than just a talent. It is something that is going to change lives of people.
This was a great concept that would actually become an equalizer, so much so that independent of where you're born, you're able to bring out the best that you have and you're able to bless the world with what you have.
Dubbed the Ghetto Got Talent is the new hope, targeting talented ghetto residents, mainly the youth.
So when UBC say we can get talented people from the ghetto, this is the best you can do for Uganda. You are not only entertaining Uganda, but you are providing employment opportunity to the young people.
Hosted at the UBC Multipurpose Auditorium, this has been launched by the Youth and Children Affairs Minister, Balamba Rugahara.
So with such an initiative, among the poor they are singers, among the poor they are talented young people. So with such initiative, it will empower and promote those hidden talents. By so doing, these young people will be known and they will be hired for performance.
It is written all over the wall that this is another game changer for the community, which many have labeled as nightmare chasers.
Ghettos are nationwide. They are all over. We have ghettos in Kisoro, we have ghettos in Gulu, we have ghettos all over.
The competition to last for months will run in all the ghetto settings across the country, with finalists receiving invitations to the boot camp.
We will be creating a platform for these people, and the boot camp session, we always have those monitoring, teaching about SRHR, health problems, because these people have health problems. So this is where we come in.
The Ghetto Has Got Talent search is a national campaign to allow everyone, not just from Kampala, but from all the districts, from Barara, from Gulu, from Arua, from Bali, Soroti, Moroto, and so on and so forth, to be able to express themselves.
As the Minister of Gender and Government of Uganda, I pledge to work closely with them to ensure that we get these talented young people, and so that we replace the aging artists. Many of our artists are aging. Many of them are getting out of music. So when they get out of music and entertainment, who will entertain the world?
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation UBC will offer full media coverage as the #1 sponsors.
I think this is an incredible platform that is being offered to the ghetto youth and to the young people out there. So the Ghetto Has Got Talent concept is great. It is a great opportunity for the young people to express themselves, to be able to bring the best out of themselves, and to that extent the public broadcaster sees to it that it should be able to support it and allow everyone to express themselves in the best possible way.
Currently, Uganda has many ghetto centers across the entire country. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Directorate of Industrial Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports is conducting the modular Workers Practically Acquired Skills and Full Occupational Assessment countrywide. Over 9,000 candidates are to be assessed. Tusubira Samson, a verifier at DIT, says this is part of Skilling Uganda, which is aimed at providing skills to every citizen.
Uganda Rural Development Training Institute, with support from Mastercard Foundation, is empowering the youth with vocational skills for sustainable livelihood. At least 5,950 youths from 20 districts of Uganda who have been undergoing 3-month skills training in bricklaying, tailoring, hairdressing, domestic wiring, poultry keeping, soap making, among others, are being assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training. Among these youths, 1,634 are refugees and host communities from the 3 refugee settlements of Chiriandongo, Changwari and Chakatu. Uganda Rural Development Training Institute Epicenter Manager, Chiriandongo Refugee Settlement, Catherine Busobozi, says they are supporting the training of refugees and their hosts into gainful employment.
We have very many youth that have been trained in the settlement. There are over 1,730 that we have trained. And today we have an activity for DIT. We are assessing the last cohort that we have been training.
Tusubira Samson, a verifier at the Directorate of Industrial Training, says this exercise is to verify the candidate's competency. He calls on the youths to upgrade to higher skilling levels.
Assessment has been carried on well. People were having skills but without certificates, without papers. So this assessment has made them to get papers to back their skills.
The refugees hail Uganda Rural Development Training Institute and government for the program, which they say is providing them with long life skills.
By the grace of the Lord, I got the opportunity to train youths like me. So I thank God for URDT for organizing the organization for training a youth.
After I get certificate, I will be open to go in any area.
If I do my exam and give me my certificate, I may even do better things in my country if I went back in my country. That is what I thank God for this.
This arrangement hopefully will enhance job creation and reduce poverty in these communities. I'm Nafka Farida and Ganga Henry.
Land wrangles have taken another twist in Namayingo district as over 50,000 people stand to be evicted over disputed land. The affected communities include Lolwe Islands, Mutumba Rural, Mutumba Town Council and Banda sub-counties.
Lolwe Islands is one of the 5 islands making up Lolwe sub-county in Ukole Islands constituency in Namayingo district. The other 4 habitant islands include Hama, Silo, Wayasi, Lolwe Main and Mijingo, bordering Uganda with Kenya by the southeast and Tanzania by the south. Despite being a water-bodied area, land disputes have not spared the community members. It all started 5 years back when unidentified individuals from the tourism ministry claimed ownership of the land. The district councillor representing Lolwe Islands, Rebecca Naigaga, says it was established that, on processing the land title, the tourism ministry was authorized by the Refugee local government without the knowledge of the Namayingo district local government.
That there is someone who is owning Lolwe sub-county with one title. So people of Lolwe were very, very much worried because they were asking themselves, where are they going? And who is owning that land as an individual with one title? So we are requesting the government to come in.
The district land officer Namayingo, Ms. Mutesi, says land conflicts have retarded development in the affected communities.
Nebatugamba nti tebasobola kukolera kuzimbako mayumba gali permanent, abasinga bali mayumba gasubi kubanga tebali sure kiki kinaddako enkya. Era bagambye nti baagala nnyo ofuna ebyapa naye tebasobola olw'okutiisibwatiisibwa abantu abo abalina ebyapa ku mataka ago. Kati ebintu bitudde, ebintu tebitambula kubanga waliwo enkeeyana ku ttaka eryo.
The LOC5 Vice Chairman Namayingo District, Kauta Abdallah Twaha, pointed out that many residents in Banda sub-county are living on a standstill, and this has brought about insecurity in the communities.
Kino kitadde abantu mu kweraliikirira nga tebamanyi kyekiddako batya nti ekiseera kyonna bayinza okubagoba mu ttaka eryo, era n'abantu abali mu ttaka eryo batya okuzimba. Actually balina essente esobola okuinvestinga but bali mu kutya.
The chairman Namayingo District Land Board, Wandera Patrick Abanje, argues that they have developed a number of interventions to avert the situation.
We have empowered area land committees
at the grassroots to intervene at all times. Then if the situation goes beyond the area land committee chairman, then he can proceed to chairman LC2. But when it goes out of hand, they come to the district authority. But we don't work in monopoly at the district. We work hand in hand with the RDC's office.
Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Inabugude, UBC News.
Ekutosako papapate tuwa musonga katino kulo mukaganga satubulu mwezi guno gwa munana jangu kudamzu wota kulagibe grounds tunyumirwe ngokuyingira jinja kube emitwalo ebiri naye tiketi wogigulira ku MTN Momo ogifuna ku mutwalo gumu ye ya VIP ya mitwalo 3 katino nyiga *165*2 oba kozesa Momo app wegulire tiketi yo ku MTN Momo ku bei rahisi tosubwa abayimbi bonna ab'e Kampala n'ab'e Busoga papapate netegekeddwa Douglas Rwanga ne kutuusibwako MTN.
Together we're unstoppable.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with Baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Welcome back. Now, the chairperson, National Youth Council, Jacob Yeru, has expressed deep concern over the increasing number of youth involved in criminal activities, which he attributes to reluctance among the youth. Yeru urged the youth to leave their comfort zones and actively seek out opportunities for self-employment. This was during the Kampala Youth Symposium held under the theme Empowering the Young People Through Skills Development for a Smart City.
The chairperson of the National Youth Council, Jacob Yeru, emphasized the wealth of resources and programs available to young people in Uganda aimed at supporting entrepreneurship and skill development. He urged the youth to seize opportunities to build a better future for themselves and the nation.
When you raise opportunity, youth don't want to go and take the opportunity. They want the opportunity to come in this conference hall. Pride Microfinance, I want us to clap for them. They have solved a very big issue. You can get financing up to 5 million if you have 2 guarantors. You need no collateral. The guarantors are a collateral. It is the same thing with the YLP money. But a young person thinks YLP is what I must insist on, and not Pride Microfinance, which has an endless portal of saying we are everywhere if you are serious.
While the government has been praised for establishing skilling centers to address the growing youth population, many young entrepreneurs struggle to succeed due to high taxation.
But we still know that our youth still have challenges, even after they have been skilled. They face challenges in regard to taxation. The taxation is very high, and we are looking at, we are calling upon the government to put in place different policies that can favor the youth after they have been skilled. How best can they be favorable in the market?
By a number of young people here, they start up a business. A business is 1 month old, and the KCCA is coming up to tax them, which issue that is also challenging the young people. Here we are saying that the KCCA should give at least a tax holiday for a close to a period of 6 months to allow these young people to make sure that they can also be able to support and grow their business.
Refugees appealing to government to streamline registration procedures, which would allow them access to essential services like health care and education. They also seek skills training to help them sustain themselves and contribute to the country's economic development.
So they come to the country, no registration at all. People are suffering. Women are not going to hospital because of fear. They cannot go because of, if you don't have documents, you cannot go to the hospital. So please, government, open for us the doors of the refugee.
And we know how vital the skills are in terms of securing jobs. And as we know that Uganda is also a country in the global south, it has its own challenges on employment. But we believe that when there are skills, especially for refugees, then they can be able to really make living for themselves.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Leaders from Nakaseke district paid a courtesy visit to a 4-acre model farm owned by Deputy NRM Secretary General Rhoda Ngonzi in Nakaseke. According to Namayingo, the farm will provide valuable agricultural knowledge not only to farmers in the district but across the country.
Deputy Secretary General Rhoda Ngonzi led a team of district leaders and other stakeholders on a guided tour of her model farm. The establishment of this farm stems from President Dr. Museveni's 1-acre model initiative, which emphasizes agricultural productivity on small plots of land.
CW, disease resistant, mixed with banana plantation. In the long run, I have managed to put an orchard of fruit trees, which is taking half an acre.
Ngaffe kennyini abakulembeze tugenda kukyusa ku nnima gye tubadde tulimamu. Ekyokubiri n'abaana bali mu kitundu kyaffe osanga babadde abamu tebakola na mirimu gya kwagazisa bulimi. Tugenda baagazisa obulimi nga bajja ne balambula wano ne bayigirako ebyokulima.
Era nsaba abantu b'omu kitundu kyonna mu kijjumbire kubanga omwavu gw'okolima, omwavu gw'okuba emimiro, omwavu gw'obba. Nsaba n'abantu b'omu kitundu bonna tukyeyinule tufunemu bye tujjamu.
The farm is expected to benefit over 1,671 households and youth, providing them with practical knowledge and resources. The farm features banana plantations, fruit trees, a coffee nursery, and will soon expand into commercial livestock farming and a skills center.
Because I know these people, I know some of them are progressive farmers, but what they lack is information on agronomics. It's information on best practices. It's information on quality pests and pesticides. Can have water from the roof and use that water for irrigation in using very cheap methods like what we have explained. And what I know about our people here, the progressive farmers have capacity to do this.
This initiative aligns with President Museveni's vision of modernizing agriculture and creating wealth for every household.
Meanwhile, Soroti University is likely to host the Center for Nuclear Science and Technology. This follows the signing of a contract between the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development and INVAP SE of Argentina to undertake site evaluation, technical studies and develop designs.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has signed a contract with INVAP SE of Argentina to undertake site evaluation, technical studies and develop designs for the Center of Nuclear Science and Technology in Soroti City. Argentina has well-developed nuclear industry and has a long history of exporting nuclear technology globally and specifically in Africa.
Meaning that we are dealing with a company that is backstopped by a solid country experience. So we will learn from the Argentinian experience. But also we were informed that INVAP has exported research reactors across Africa in Algeria and Egypt. So we are probably on the journey of adding Uganda to this long list. So we are confident that we are dealing with a solid partner and that this program will progress.
Every project is also a learning for us, and we are sure that we will learn a lot of working together with the team here, and as you say, not only on delivering these facilities but also on working together towards what you envisage as your future.
The development excited Professor Ikoja Odong, the Vice-Chancellor of Soroti University, who attended the momentous occasion at the Ministry of Energy headquarters in Kampala.
And I think when it comes to discussing the layout and the requirement, they will be handy. Because for us, we have space, we have the air, but we want the thing which is really attending to the issues of this country. You have mentioned the issue about power production, radioisotopes, research and learning and so on. These are the same things we are looking for. So we want our brothers to be knowing that we will have those things in that reactor. How it will be governed, that's another case. We shall do it later on. But the important thing is that it is situated in Soroti.
The contract signing ceremony comes at a critical time when Uganda is fast-tracking the preparatory activities for establishing the Center for Nuclear Science and Technology, which will host the nuclear research reactor for education, training, production of radioisotopes and research in nuclear industry. Dennis Igoa and Maria Namkose for UBC News.
In the High Court, Judge Isaac Muwata has ruled that physical exhibits in the murder case of businessman Henry Katanga can only be presented in court by the person who recovered them from the crime scene and not the forensic expert. This ruling, delivered on Thursday, follows an objection from the defense regarding the prosecution's request to have the physical exhibits submitted by the forensic expert. The defense argued that the forensic expert lacked the legal standing to do so.
Katanga widow to Henry Katanga is jointly accused with her two daughters, Patricia Kankwanzi and Martha Nkwanzi, George Amanyire, a family shamba boy, and the nurse officer Charles Otai in the murder case of businessman Henry Katanga. When the case resumed for hearing, Judge Isaac Muwata first delivered a ruling in which the defense was objecting to the prosecution prayers to allow the forensic expert Andrew Chizimula Mubiru to tender the physical exhibits in court. In his ruling, Judge Isaac Muwata was pleased with the defense's prayers.
Has not been established, and only the tendered for identification. And if you're going to recover them, come tender them as experts. In line with the Rule 25, Rule 2, those guidelines which provide the people who can tender them. So that
Thursday, while giving his evidence in chief, the acting director of forensic services in Uganda Police Force, Andrew Chizimula Mubiru, disclosed to court how he carried out DNA examinations on the deceased Henry Katanga to see if they were connected to the exhibits recovered from the crime scene. Chizimula told court that he received 23 exhibits, including both biological and non-biological.
The chain of evidence.
The physical exhibits included Mole Katanga's dresses, sticks, bed sheets, broom, hair stretches, Gauze, bandage swabs from blood picked from the scene of crime, among others. As directed in the ruling, prosecution tendered the exhibits to court for identification. With the need to have some critical documents from prosecution witness before cross-examination, defense asked the court for more time.
But a number of critical ones for the defense were not supplied. We must still demand them, even now. My Lord, if we were to have them today, about 10 days would be adequate for us. Otherwise, my Lord, we shall contend that there is no fair hearing for the accused persons.
The witness is also under subject of authority.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
So 10 days would be too much.
Judge Isaac Muwata adjourned the case to September 10th, 2024. Businessman Henry Katanga was murdered on November 2nd, 2023 at his home in Imbuya along Chua Road 2 in Inakawa Division, Kampala. Amwai Vanjuko and Deborah Namamonde for UBC.
And Robert Kayanja Ministries, a non-governmental organization, has reaffirmed its commitment to fighting hunger and famine across East Africa while empowering local communities. This pledge was made by the patron of Miracle Center Cathedral, Pastor Robert Kayanja, shortly after receiving the prestigious International Humanitarian Award for feeding the people of Karamoja and South Sudan.
Recently, Christians from Miracle Center Cathedral Rubaga, its sister Pentecostal churches, and the entire nation celebrated the news of this remarkable achievement. The award was received by Pastor Jessica Kayanja in United Arab Emirates on behalf of the ministry. Pastor Robert Kayanja, the founder of Robert Kayanja Ministries, elaborated on the projects he initiated in the East African region.
We've been working with the Karamoja. The story is everywhere. What we are doing there to feed the people, fight hunger. So I want to thank you for standing with us. That's the reason why we were chosen for this humanitarian award all over Africa, because it wasn't only in the country of Uganda. We reached out to our neighbors in South Sudan. And so we are grateful to that. We also sent food to Kenya during the recent drought. So we want to thank you. This is your award.
Pastor Kayanja emphasized that the challenge was not just about providing food. It also involved changing the mindset of the Karamojong people, encouraging them to abandon traditional practices such as cattle rustling and raids.
Not that we are only giving out food, but we are producing food and changing mindset as well. Everybody has seen Karamoja. If you do the right thing in the right time, you can change anything, anywhere in the country. We are looking at, we dug a 3-mile trench of water. The rain came, the rain filled it. So the water is there right now. So whoever told us that we cannot grow food in Karamoja, as you see, the harvest, which is coming out this season, we are harvesting right now. And this is what people are looking at.
The ministry, with the help of partners, focused on tilling the land, raising funds for seeds and establishing seed banks.
And I could see from Lake Choga all the way here, I've never seen such a beautiful place. It is so rich, it is so ready to feed Africa. And how do we change Africa? We work together.
So Karamoja can grow anything. So we have so many misguiding information that the people have given us for years. Either it was passed on to us by our forefathers or by colonialists or whoever perpetrated this lie that Karamoja cannot grow food. We have proven it can grow food.
Pastor Kayanja proudly shared that the project has been a success, leading to bountiful harvests with the use of modern machinery.
We cannot do anything of great impact without technology, without mechanization. So, and it must be proper mechanization. One of the things that I'm advocating is that African countries will stop using the African plow. Things being manufactured where you are, you'll have to do importation. And that's one of the challenges, that you know what equipment you want, you know what kind of seeds you want and to plant, but then everything has to be imported in. That's number one. Number two, it is lack of skilled labor. Lack of skilled labor.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, GAIN, conducted a survey across more than 100 companies in Uganda, revealing that 40% of employees are frequently absent from work due to poor nutrition. This absenteeism has led to significant revenue losses for these companies. The survey also found that while some companies do provide meals, they often lack balanced nutrition, which has been identified as a major cause of health issues among workers.
This was disclosed by the Government Engagement Liaison Advisor Global Alliance Uganda, Asimwe Charles, during the dissemination of the survey findings and a planning session for workforce nutrition held in Kampala.
What here today was bringing together most of the private sector actors or the employers in different age companies in Uganda, discussing with them the issues of workplace nutrition. How do we improve nutrition at the workplace?
The Senior Associate for Workforce Nutrition, Musa Mtiaba, mentioned that the survey will be extended to more companies as a way to inform employers of the importance of providing proper meals to workers. He also emphasized that women should be granted maternity leave after giving birth.
For example, the nutrition education, this one helps the workers to understand exactly what they are supposed to feed on in terms of helping them to choose from the available food sources that we have, some of these existing gaps. Then away from that, then we have the breastfeeding support. This looks at the lactating mothers who are into those working environments in terms of the breastfeeding corners, in terms of breastfeeding breaks, in terms of maternity leaves, so that the mothers are able to go and take care.
Angosha Elisha, a nutrition consultant with Iris Drive Limited, stated that the survey found many employers do not allow workers to participate in the findings, a practice that complicates the process.
There have been, of course, different meals for the laborers, and then the different meals for the employees of those same companies, which we think is something that can be addressed. We also looked at the health checks. As government, they have enabled and enforced mandatory health checks, but when it comes to nutrition assessment within these factories, there has been a glaring...
Workplace nutritionist with GAIN Uganda, Jackie Immaculate Kirabo, advised employers to collaborate with nutritional experts to improve workers' diets, and emphasizing that better nutrition leads to increased productivity.
Now, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, is appalled by the small number of women daring to join traditional business sectors like transport and construction, a reality check that still locks them out of full money economy, unlike men who have embraced this. Amongi revealed this while launching a We 4D program implemented by GIZ, NORAD and European Union, aiming at promoting women employment for green transformation in Africa. The event was held at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala.
I support issues of women empowerment, so...
At least 90% of small, medium and sized enterprises are manned by women. Amongi believes supporting women through more skilling, startup business equipment, are a catalyst to harness business potential for women and empower them for bigger business enterprises.
If we are able to also support women in those traditional sectors, because you have enumerated transport, logistics, construction, some of them you might not find so many women in it, but I hope the program will support the startup, the capacity building of the women, the exchange and benchmarking and mentorship
This Way Forward project is a 4-year project aiming at building resilience and capacity building for women entrepreneurs in this country.
We envision deepening collaboration with the private sector to realize the transformative vision by actively tackling the obstacles that women encounter in the labor market and fostering greater opportunities within sustainable sectors.
It's now common knowledge that women face multiple constraints when attempting to join male-dominated business sectors, yet it's these sectors that are more financially rewarding.
The program aims specifically at different factors. Of course, skills building, but also linkages with the wider business development. We provide business development support, but also create networks between the entrepreneurs, work with the chambers, etc.
Worrying trend also pointed out today was most women are not using smartphones for e-business. Reports indicate majority spend more time using smartphones to make TikTok videos. Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
And the majority of children in juvenile centers across the country come from backgrounds of poor parental nurturing. The professional counselor Gloria Aminata has observed that some of them were often left with caretakers as parents prioritized work.
The increasing number of juveniles detained in juvenile centers across the country has been attributed to a poor parenting culture.
Where are we failing as the adults raising these children? Is it a community problem? Is it a government problem? It's at what level? Is it a school problem? We, the adults in the children's lives, are we doing our jobs to nurture these children well? Because children don't raise themselves.
Esther Mutesi, a working parent, admitted that poor parenting culture is a factor, though Samuel Oyaka, another parent, disagreed with her opinion.
Parents don't have enough time for their children, especially the working parents. You will find someone working in an office and they're supposed to be there by 7.
In Uganda of today, where economy is very poor, whether you have your responsibility of what you cannot, ends cannot meet. The money is not enough to pay school fees, take children to hospitals,
The issue has led to a growing number of juveniles at Naguru Remand Home in Kampala.
What I want to say out there that these children change and they become better people. They only need to be loved, to be cared for, and to be treated as one of their own.
It is against this backdrop, various well-wishers from across the country rallied to support the detained juveniles.
We have come to give a few items to the children who have been remanded at the Naguru Remand Home. What we want to show them, as we have done over the last 2 years, is that when you make a mistake, that is not the end of the world.
Even if you don't have money, you can come and participate in mentorship. You can give wisdom to this child so the kid can turn around. There's so much we can do. Vocational training, skilling, mentorship, executive coaching. There's so much we can give these children.
They are also calling for the implementation of skill-building programs for detained children, especially boys, to help them after serving their sentences.
As a boy child, you can make it, because God created it that the man should be on top and the lady on below, and that way that we have distorted that kind of initiative, and which is causing problems and causing challenges in the community, in the family, and in the whole world.
The boy child has no mentor. The boy child is being neglected. So we are here to make sure and to voice that it's important that when we support the girl child, alongside, we don't forget the boy child. Otherwise, we are going to have problems in future.
Co Joseph, UBC.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire!
Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? While you were moving in wet, you were the 12th player. When Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Through our famous wins, Katanga, and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder. Now, as Uganda Cranes take take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November. Bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
And on business news, the 8th High-Level Economic Growth Forum was held today in Kampala, Uganda, under the theme Seizing Opportunities for Structural Transformation to Increase Productivity and Resilience. The forum, hosted by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, brought together government officials, researchers, academics, private sector leaders and development partners to discuss Uganda's economic trajectory and strategies for achieving inclusive and sustainable growth.
At the forum, it was noted that the total foreign direct investments in Uganda have increased to $3.01 billion as of end of April 2024, with significant inflows into the oil and gas sector driving economic activity.
Uganda's strong economic growth has been driven not by good prayers only, but by good economic management, by investment in infrastructure development, by investment in human capital development, by deliberate government programs for agriculture, for agro-industry, for oil and gas, for parish development model, for also providing a conducive and stable macroeconomic environment.
Remittances also rose to $1.43 billion in 2023, up from $1.25 billion in 2022.
Still, the interest rates at the global scene are still relatively higher than desirable, with I think the SOFR is about 5.3%, and that means you can't borrow anywhere below about 7-8% when you include in the margin. So the interest rates are still quite high, and also we have fluctuations still in commodity prices.
While Uganda experienced robust growth of over 7% in the 2 decades before the first Economic Growth Forum, growth dropped to around 3.1% in 2016-17 due to various challenges.
East African countries, for their part, might wish to review the decades-old high protection, for example, to sugar production, which has gone on for several years with no end in sight. A final lesson that comes out of this literature, I think, is that evaluation of programs and policies is a prerequisite to success. You have to know when you're winning. You also have to know when maybe you're losing, your programs are not so effective. And I think one of the things that's nice about this conference and about the Ministry of Finance's efforts to bring evidence into policy is that it will help in this effort. So monitoring and evaluation of programs is fundamental.
However, a robust industrial policy with clear strategic actions to spur industrial development and export growth is a core pillar of structural transformation. Uganda's 2020 industrial policy was designed to address employment, wealth creation, trade imbalances, mineral and oil exploration, and integration of agricultural value chains. The forum highlighted the need to seize new growth opportunities, make policies to increase the economy's productive capacity, Participants engaged in discussions on how best to harness private sector innovation and expertise to develop sustainable solutions that offer value for money. Wadulo Makanold, Dennis Sigoa, UBC News.
And in sports, after the grand opening ceremony of the 2024 Paralympics Games in Paris, France, the Games have started today on a high note in swimming, volleyball and taekwondo, among others.
Uganda's S8 swimmer Husna Kukundakwe will be the first in action for Uganda in the pool tomorrow for the 100 meters breaststroke in Heat 2 at 12:11 p.m. East African time. This will be her first competition of the 3 she has registered for. The youngster has had her last training today at the French Defense Aquatic Center in France under the watchful eye of her coach, Muzaffar Mwanguzi.
I feel very prepared and ready for my race, and I promise to do my best and see what comes out of it.
T13 runner Piso Roma with her coach James Senkungu also had a feel of the Stade de France, which is the host for athletics.
Nzeko wano ku kisaawe ogezamu engeri gye ngenda okuddukamu enkya okuntegeka mentally ne physically.
Oroma has 2 events to compete in, starting with the 1,500 meters and then the 400 meters next week.
Today we came for our first warm-up to check the track and then the competition venue so that we can plan correctly our strategy, at least to make sure that Oroma Peace advances to the final. So his race tomorrow is going to be 1,500, which will be in two heats. So we expect her to advance to a final on 31st. So our preparations have been good so far, and the weather has been so much favorable. It's like that of Uganda, and we hope for the best tomorrow.
This year's games are of the 17th edition, with Uganda featuring 4 athletes. Of the 4, 2 are from athletics, including 2-time medal winner David Emong, 1 swimmer, and paralifter Dennis Mbazira.
Well, that does it for News. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.